G-Roll Electronic Productions, baby.
Welcome to DEMOCREPUBLIX, where we cover the real news that matters to we the people. Biden admin considering giving Taliban direct aid despite sanctions, terror ties. But I think we already gave them direct aid by leaving all the billions of dollars worth of equipment and weapons there for them to take and sell and use on American people. But the Daily Wire reports that the United States is now reportedly considering giving direct financial aid and economic assistance to the Taliban, despite international sanctions placed on the group over its material support for radical Islamic terrorism, and despite nearly 2 decades of considering the Taliban a sworn enemy. This makes absolutely no sense. Biden National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told ABC News' George Stephanopoulos that the U.S. is considering aid. I mean, this is unbelievable. Quote, there is an important dimension of humanitarian assistance that should go directly to the people of Afghanistan, Sullivan began. They need help with respect to health and food and other forms of sustenance, and we do intend to continue that. So you really think that the Taliban going to give this stuff to the people there? Come on now. They're already rounding up people that have been helping the United States. But the article goes on to say that secondly, when it comes to our economic and development assistance relationship with the Taliban, that will be about the Taliban's actions. He continued, quote, that will be about whether they follow through on their commitments to safe passage of American and Afghan allies. Their commitment to not allow Afghanistan a base from which terrorists can attack the United States or any other country. Their commitments with respect to upholding their international obligations. Do they really believe these people gonna stick to stick to the deal? I mean, they're, like I said, they're already slaughtering people that's been helping Americans throughout this whole through this whole war. But the article goes on to say that it's going to be up to them, Sullivan said, and we'll wait to see by their actions how we end up responding. Sullivan's comments mean that the Biden administration has not taken direct aid to the Taliban government off the table, even though the United States designates the Taliban a terrorist entity. They're not following any laws, any rules. They don't care about any sanctions. I mean, this been clear. That's why he allowed Russia to make that pipeline, regardless of the sanctions that was put in place on Russia. But the article goes on to say that the Taliban are designated as a terrorist group by the United States. The sanction frees any U.S. assets of group and bars Americans from dealing with them, including the contribution of funds, goods, or services. Reuters reported early in August. But you remember, Obama did the same thing when he gave money to Iran, even though we had sanctions against Iran. So they clearly don't care about breaking sanctions. The Biden administration has spoke favorably about providing aid to the Afghan people, but this is complicated by the Taliban now being in control of the government, which is largely responsible for distributing the aid. WLS Chicago previously reported that the Taliban siphoned off nearly 50% of all aid poured into Afghanistan since the beginning of the war. That aid effectively enabled the Taliban to begin its military offensive, an offensive that led to U.S. premature and arguably disastrous withdrawal. So they already took 50% of the aid, so now they're going to take 100% of it. Since we're not in there to stop them from, or the Afghan military is not there from to stop them from what they're doing. But, quote, Congress has said that most of the aid the U.S. has sent in the past several years didn't end up with the people who needed it already, but they figured that about 50% of American aid to Afghanistan in the past several years have been siphoned off to warlords or to corruption or to fraud. Northwestern University political science professor told the outlet, quote, and so with the change in government in Afghanistan, I think the odds of using American money to influence events and improve people's lives are pretty slim. But don't tell the Biden administration this. They're gonna give them money anyway, knowing that this money is gonna go to the Taliban. The Taliban is gonna use it for unspeakable stuff. It is likely that the Biden administration views economic aid as leverage. It has often referred to in discussions over how the administration plans to extract the hundreds of Americans who wanted to evacuate but were left behind when the U.S. pulled out on Monday. And we did another video on that. The administration, for example, might try to use foreign aid as leverage to persuade the Taliban to uphold human rights, particularly with respect to allowing refugees to leave the country and allowing women and girls to continue to pursue education and work opportunities outside the home, the Hill reported. But we all know none of that's going to happen. I don't think they really care about money, really. I mean, these people are religious zealots. But let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe. And check out DEMOCREPUBLIX.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.